Hello, welcome to 3 Minute Gaming. I'm Nathan, and today I'm going to tell you if this game is worth your time and bandwidth. Today's game is Cavity Busters. Well, I think I did it, guys. I found a Binding of Isaac style game that's somehow weirder than Binding of Isaac. Is Cavity Busters a tooth and guts based roguelike worth sinking your teeth into? Cavity Busters is currently available on PC. It just left early access. Its MSRP is $14. This is a game you can spend a lot of time in. I did about 10 to 20 hours before I was done with it, but I saw a dude on Steam screenshots who had 200 plus hours and unlocked everything, so up to you. So what exactly is Cavity Busters? Well, it's a top-down, room-based roguelite, which I'm going to try to stop comparing to Binding of Isaac every few sentences, because while it was very much inspired by that game, Cavity Busters is definitely its own thing. You are a gum. Yes, like from a mouth, not double mint or whatever. And you have the body's last tooth. The body is full of gross stuff you need to get rid of, I guess, and your strategy is to throw the tooth and then pull it back to murder things. I guess I missed that episode of The Magic School Bus Goes Inside Arnold where this happened. Gameplay is similar to the aforementioned Isaac, as it's in a roguelike where you will traverse a Zelda-esque series of interconnected rooms, each with a slew of enemies to defeat before you can continue. There's also passives that augment your character, with more unlocking on each run, and that's where Cavity Busters breaks off into its own thing. With even your base kit, your gum has a ton of unique moves. You can toss your tooth and pull it back. You have a dash, and dashing through yellow enemy bullets reflects them back. You can grab onto the wall and spin around the stage and over pits, which also render certain bullets harmless temporarily. And you can leap high above the stage and Mario jump stunned enemies, or also use this to teleport around the map. That isn't all, however, as you additionally have a homing shot that uses ammo, but said ammo can also be consumed to get a heal. Enemies and bosses start easy, but quickly become bullet hell enemies, requiring skilled dashes, learning your gum's hitbox, and parry dashing those yellow shots. To combat this challenge, there's tons of pickups you can find, from gum injections that increase your max health, smaller passives that stack, and the big chunky ones you get from friendlies or killing bosses. But there's also bad disease power-ups as well. These often come with a significant benefit, but also an equally significant downside, such as giving you more teeth, but missing shots fire back at you. You can cure a lot of these negatives at the cost of health and currency, should you find the right room, or you could just leave the item behind, but if you do, the whole dungeon gets stronger. These single decisions can make or break runs. Maps are also very expansive and require digging to get to most of them. While your interconnected starting zone is small, you can dig to marked points of interest with either shovels or paying health. I should also mention that this game's absolutely grotesque and weird art style is just bonkers. I have no clue how somebody actually came up with something so weird and bizarre for a concept, but I kind of totally dig it, actually. And that's basically the game, a bullet hell-esque roguelike with a ton of interesting mechanics and abilities set inside the grossest and most diseased human body in existence. So what do I like about Cavity Busters? Well, the great starting kit of abilities makes everyone exciting from the very beginning, with all those moves easy to learn and difficult to master, making you have engaging gameplay from the start of every run. Additionally, the disease system is fantastic, with you having to make hard choices around whether to take a power-up and have a worse effect, but at least have something to go along with it, or abandoning it and making the whole run tougher. And lastly, enemies and bosses are great with their bullet hell style of combat, with the ability to reflect bullets back via dashing, nullifying some bullet toys by wall hugging, leading to some really tense and empowering battles. When it comes to the bad, some of the negatives on the power-ups are so vicious that if you can't find a healer, they're basically run ending, which sucks even more if you don't know what it is for you getting it. I picked up something that made me lose a heart every time I went through a door, which, as you can imagine, ended my run pretty quick. No bueno. Some of the controls also don't feel great on a controller. Teleporting can be tricky, and wall hugging, particularly getting off the wall, doesn't have the level of precision I feel it should. And lastly, the game's general gross aesthetic may put some people off. I personally loved it, but I'm not going to say it's for everybody or even most buddies. As you know, I rate games here on a 3-point scale. Must play, maybe consider, and don't bother. I think Cavity Busters is a must play and a hidden gem. If you enjoy Binding of Isaac, do not hesitate. Open up Steam and go buy Cavity Busters right now. This game does a phenomenal job of taking the basic framework and feel of that game and evolving it and adding enough new stuff to have its own identity. Cavity Busters is a gross, weird, and fantastic little game that absolutely excels at what it's trying to do. I highly encourage you to go check it out. And that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. If you played or heard of Cavity Busters, or you're going to check it out now, let me know in the comments. But regardless, make sure you go out there and brush and floss your teeth.